Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV, and man, I felt really passionate about something today, so I'm here to talk about it. I'm not going to really show you guys any articles. You can look up shit yourself. There's been a lot of disrespect going on with Nas and the release of his King's Disease 3 record, in particular, a Atlanta rapper that just got done dropping an album with arguably the most popular rapper of all time, Drake. You guys know who I'm talking about, 21 Savage. Yes, he came off the hurt loss, obviously, the week before Nas dropped his album. Nas drops his album, and, 21's doing these. He kind of came out and apologized, right? This video seems kind of pointless, but we got to go back. We got to go look. I mean, I'm not letting him get away with this, okay? 21 Savage says Nas is irrelevant. He's not relevant. Oh, man. And I had a big conversation. 21 Savage, he says he doesn't feel like he's relevant. He just feels like he got a fan base and he makes good music. Okay. So you're giving him credit everywhere else, but you're saying he's not relevant. He's got a fan base, but he's not relevant. How does that make any sense? So we're looking at 21 Savage's career. I don't want to compare it to Nas's career because I don't think 21 Savage was doing that in any way. I think he's just saying, like, right now, I mean, it's fair to say that 21 Savage right now is more relevant than Nas. I'm more than willing to admit that. You made an album with Drake, one of the best-selling artists ever, period. So, yeah, it's fine. You can say you're more relevant than him, but once he said that he was irrelevant, that's where, man, I got really angry and I started commenting, oh man, it's terrible. But think about this. What makes 21 Savage relevant? Is it because of him or is it because he was on a Drake record? What makes him more relevant? Because if you look at Her Loss and you look at the track list, 21 Savage has one track list. And this could be a Drake reference track. He's kind of paying homage, and that's cool, but it's really fucking corny. He copied a Drake idea, a Drake concept for a song, and put up a 21 Savage twist on it. And in no way, shape, or form is that song deep or is it good. I'm not I haven't re-listened to 3 AM on Glenwood since it came out. You're on the album 33% of the time. Drake is on the album 67% of the time. There's literally metrics that are supporting this. No features from Nas on this record, right? And even with a collab album with you and Drake, you still had features on the album. You still had the feature. Or feature. I don't think they had more than one. Unless I'm wrong. I don't remember. You had one feature, but it was one of the biggest rappers in the game, Travis Scott, who the hype is just building and building a building. People are dying to listen to a song from Travis Scott right now because Utopia is in the works. And I'm not saying that I don't like 21 Savage. It's just I've been very, very upset with kind of what he's had to say today. What is he talking about? Is it because he's from Atlanta and not New York, and he's just disrespecting a New York rapper? I'm not sure what the hell's happening. This is just off the dome. So if I say some weird stuff, it's because I'm literally just freestyling everything here. Nas dropped an potential album of the year contender. I listened to it. I'm not being biased here towards the legend, and you can't say I have recency bias because, of course, these two albums dropped within a week of each other. So no, there's no recency bias. Nas dropped an album of the year contender. This album is at an absolute worst a 7.6, whereas Her Loss is in between a 6 and a 7. Okay? Keep that in mind. No features, no collab album. He worked with Hit Boy, but Hit Boy isn't even credited on the record, and Hit Boy's not even a guy that's seeked after. He's a producer, right? Shout out to Hit Boy. He's a legend, okay? I'm not taking that away from him, but we're comparing Drake to Hit Boy here in relevance. So, and let's think about it. 21 Savage, okay? Let's see here. Rap album of the year in 2021. That's another big point. How are you calling someone that won Rap Album of the Year in 2021 irrelevant. The fact that he was even nominated, he was nominated for King's Disease 2 as well. How is that? That's so much better than what a lot of artists can do in the rap game right now. That's so much better. Think about it. There's only 5 nominees for Rap Album of the Year, and at most, maybe 10 to 11 different hip-hop artists get nominated. Out of the hundreds of hip-hop artists in rap right now, maybe 10 or 11 get nominated for an award every year. Like, think about this. Like, come on. And literally, at this last Grammy, he got nominated for Rap Album of the Year. So your argument's terrible. Now, we'll see what the first week sales of King's Disease 3 is going to look. Obviously, it's not going to hit 400K. We're talking about Drake is on your album for 67% of the time, 21. Okay? Getting Rap Album of the Year in 2021, and yeah, there's the argument. It's like, oh my goodness, Nas hasn't, this is his first time in his career he's gotten Rap Album of the Year. We're not even going to get to his classics yet. Right now, we're talking about the fact that he's been rapping for damn near 20... He's been rapping 25 plus years, and he's still getting Grammy nominated. That's what we're talking about. 21. Subjectively, Nas could be seen as at least a top 10 rapper of all time. And by the end of your career, I'm not even trying to hate here, but are you going to be seen as a top 10 rapper of all time? He's still seen as one of the best rappers in the game. He just dropped an amazing record. Okay? He beefed with Jay-Z, okay? That's how good of a rapper he is, alright? That's another thing. The man beefed with Jay-Z, still is in contact with Jay-Z. You had dinner with Jay-Z. You will never compete against Jay-Z because you know that's not happening. So, I don't understand what is he talking about? Like, 21 will, I'm saying this, like 21 will never make an Illmatic. He will never make a Stillmatic. He will never make an It Was Written. Hell, he might not even make an album as good as one of the King's Disease albums. Is that taking it too far? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments, but I'm sick of it. People are like, oh yeah, again, here's my counter argument for taking 25 years to sell, or 25 years to get a Grammy. It didn't take him 25 years. In the CD era back in 2006, where he was competing against the likes of Kanye West and 50 Cent and Outkast and all sorts of different people. It didn't take him 25 years. It took him 13 years into his career to put up an album that sold 470K CD copies. We're not even talking, this is not the streaming era. Could you imagine if he was in the streaming era? This could have at least done 600. Dude, this could have done 600. And 21 Savage, your best album sales is with a global icon in Drake, and it only did 400K. So you haven't even done what Nas did by himself with one of the most popular artists there is. And no, you can't say Drake's lost it, he's washed. People still listen to this music every fucking day like it's clockwork. And let's not act like this is not one of the most hyped up album releases all year. Besides Kendrick Lamar, this album is the most hyped album release of the year, and you can argue it's even more hyped than Kendrick's. So I don't know what we're saying. And 21 Savage subjectively just isn't a good rapper. He doesn't have the talent. Y'all can try to give me rappers that are better than Nas. I'll agree or disagree with you in the comments. I'm not... 21 Savage, I don't think he'll ever have as good as a run as Nas has had. Jeez. People are actually passionate about their music, and then there's people that talk on beats and still sell a bunch of records because Drake's on their album. Like, dude, I wanted to like 21 so bad, and I can't really just let one thing like this happen, because you have some pretty shitty rappers out there like Lil Pump and Lil Xan who have said some terrible things about great rappers. I think Lil Xan said something like Eminem is terrible. There's a rapper out there that said Eminem is terrible. I can't remember who it was. It didn't happen too long ago. Fuck the numbers. I say, and to counter argue me saying that Nas doesn't have features on his album all that much, this album, he didn't have a single feature. And people are coming out like, oh my god, 21 Savage went platinum with It's a Album. You know what? Let's just put numbers to the side for a second because first of all, Issa album is 21 Savage's worst fucking album. So we already know what kind of fan base he has, making his worst album in his discography, and it's one of his best selling. Like, oh my god. Ugh. So, what else? Yeah, one of his worst albums. Issa album was one of 21 Savage's worst albums. And yet you're flexing that it went platinum. It's a terrible album. I don't care. I respect Taylor Swift for doing numbers, but do I like her as an artist? And I don't know. There's people that don't like her, I guess. I don't know. I guess it's all opinion. I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm not saying that 21 Savage is worse or anything. It's all subjective. You can agree or you can disagree. It doesn't matter. You know, and someone brings up the lyric, that's a one hot album every 10-year average with the Jay-Z thing with Nas. Jay-Z told that to Nas, yada, yada, yada. You know what? Jay-Z can actually say that to Nas. You know why he said that? Because he can say that to Nas. Because he's a better rapper than Nas. That's why. That's why he can say that. 21 Savage can't say shit about Nas. Like, there's no argument. He shouldn't even open his mouth about Nas. Nas's name shouldn't even come out of his mouth because Nas is leagues better than 21 Savage career-wise, and it'll always be that way. You can put Nas on a Mount Rushmore of rap history, and people wouldn't even hesitate. They wouldn't even argue with it. I mean, there would be arguers, but the general consensus that's acceptable. You put 21 Savage on the best rapper of all time, Rushmore, oh, the internet is going to rip you to shreds. Like, it just is what it is. I mean, 21 Savage, there's no energy in his music. There's no passion. He doesn't have, like, a sense of urgency in his rap music. Nas is still rapping 25... Like, he doesn't even need to do this. He's, like, 30 years into his career, and he's still rapping like he has to put food on the table. Like, he can barely put food on the table. And those are the type of rappers that I respect. You know, there's guys like J. Cole. And shout out to 21 Savage. He's worked with guys like J. Cole. That's awesome. And Drake. Shout out to 21. When we're putting him in a lyrical rap conversation and when we're trying to compare his talent to Nas, I'm not giving him any benefit of the doubt. It's just not happening. But if you want to put him in the trap artist conversation, or you even want to put him in the 2016 XXL Freshman, by the way, that freestyle was terrible. It's one of the most overhyped fucking things I've ever seen. 21 Savage's part was terrible. Rolling on my wrist, rolling on my bitch. Like, that's not good. That's not good rapping. It's a freestyle, yeah. Look up a Nas freestyle then, and you know we can compare those two. I'm perfectly fine with that. You want to look up a Nas freestyle? His freestyle is way fucking better than anything 21 Savage could do with a freestyle. Yeah. Someone just tried to say Savage Mode 2 is better than Nas's whole career. Okay. It's not better than Stillmatic. It's not better. There's probably 3 or 4 albums in Nas's discography at least that are better than that. And it's not a debate. But you go back to Savage Mode 2, right? All right, you know what? Let's go to Stillmatic. Stillmatic. There are some pretty decent features for the time, but you look at 21 Savage, you look at the features that were on Savage Mode 2. Morgan Freeman's narrating the album. Metro Boomin is producing the album. Those are guys that pop up throughout the whole thing, and we're not even mentioning the features yet. Drake and Young Thug enough. Young Thug is one of the best trap artists of all time. Drake is one of the most popular rap artists of all time. Young Nudie, for his time, I mean, he's pretty relevant. And you're trying to compare that to Nas. I'm not even saying those are the best songs on the album. 21 Savage, he has good songs. Even trying to compare an album like Savage Mode to Stillmatic would get a laugh out of a lot of people. A lot of people would laugh at that. I mean, this is arguably one of the greatest rap albums of all time. And you're saying that Savage Mode 2 is better than anything Nas has put out. Do you a favor. If you haven't listened to Nas, go listen to him. I don't know where you're living under a fucking rock. If you don't know who Nas is, go fucking listen to him. He's one of the best rappers of all time. I will never not say that about him. I mean, he had 2 big features on 10 tracks. 10 tracks. He had AZ and Q-Tip. Are those that time? Are those artists as relevant for their time as Drake and Young Thug at that time? I don't think so. So, yeah. Illmatic's one of the greatest albums of all time. 21 Savage doesn't even have a rap album that could even crack my like top 75. Not even. So it's a bit crazy. Obviously 21 Savage came out and he was like, I would never disrespect Nas or any legend who paved the way for me. Y'all be trying to take stuff and run with it. You said he was irrelevant. That's disrespectful. That's all there is to it. You said he was irrelevant, so you can't defend yourself. You just said one of the greatest rap artists of all time, who just dropped an album this week that is already being critically acclaimed, is irrelevant. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't really have a whole lot to say. I mean, I wasn't sure how long this video was going to go. I'm just gonna ramble for as long as I can. If I find something else. Oh, I'm not dissing Nas. You're calling him irrelevant. That's a dissing Nas. You just came out of fucking nowhere and said he was irrelevant. For no reason. Nas doesn't even... He probably barely even knows you. Like, let's be honest. He doesn't even know you. So... let me see. Let me try to find my comment. Oh, well. Maybe it's only on rap. Yeah, I'm out. We'll probably have more of these in the near future with anything, not just music. Tv Rants will be coming to the channel because I feel passionate about a whole lot of shit, and I use my Twitter most of the time to outlet that passion for things. But this is just, oh no, like maybe I took it the wrong way. I'm not sure. Maybe he wasn't meaning to diss Nas by calling him irrelevant. How is that possible? If you call someone irrelevant, you're dissing them. You're talking shit. Like that's what it is. What it is. Don't be surprised when you see King's Disease 3 up there as a rap album of the year candidates. If we see it up, and I mean honestly, you know what? There's one more thing I want to get into, because 21 Savage working on an album by himself, the most first week sales he ever did was like 130K. Savage Mode 2 did 170K. Nas has done better than that probably 5 or 6 times in his career. So yeah, he's got that on you. You're 6 years into your career and you're just now getting an album that sells 400,000. It's not even your magnum opus either. You don't even have a magnum opus. You don't have a Stillmatic. You don't have an Illmatic. You don't have an It Was Written. Yeah, you don't have any of those, so. Yeah, argue with a wall. It's just not a good argument to make. Saying 21 Savage is better than Nas will never be a good argument. That's just not a good take. I mean, if you like his music more, that's alright, but there's no way you're going to sit here and tell me that an artist like Nas is worse than 21 Savage. Just not going to do it. It's fine. You guys can keep rambling on the net. I'm not going to respond to you because I know that Nas is better. So, without that.